Bodwin, and September 23rd, 2014, I was a student at UL Lafayette. So as any other day, got up that morning, going to my 8 a.m. organic chemistry class that I dreaded. So I was driving to campus, parked where I was supposed to be. It was 6:30 in the morning, doing everything as I was told. Left the house. Dad was like, all right, have a good day, love you, bye, be aware of your surroundings. Okay, Dad, see you later. Like I said, go to class, park in my spot, and I'd been sitting there look over to stuff for a quiz or whatever, get out my car to finally get my books ready to walk to class, and this gentleman approaches me, and I'd been sitting in my car for a good 20, 30 minutes, and not to be rude or, think poorly of a stranger that I didn't know, just, looked up and kept getting my books. Well, he asked me at the end of the driveway, excuse me, ma'am, do you have a cigarette lighter for me or a cigarette I can borrow? I was like, sorry, I don't smoke. So I go to, finish grabbing my books, and I see him continue down the driveway, and that's when all of my red flags went off. So I'm like, okay, this isn't happening. He continues to approach me, and I've tried to push him off. So if you imagine, I had a two-door Mustang, so this was very, very important, I feel, in how the whole situation played out. So because I only had one door open that gave me access to the front and back seat, he takes me, throws me in the back seat, and with one door open and the seat was folded forward, I was like, okay, this normally isn't, I couldn't believe what was actually happening. It's like, this isn't real, but in the back of my mind, I said, I have to stop this now and get out of it, or I have very little chance of making it to class, because I was worried about my test. So then we start to fight. He has one hand on my neck and one hand, one in my mouth. And he keeps saying, quit screaming, be quiet. So I don't listen to any of those rules, and I kick and scream, and I keep one leg out of the car, and one leg, I'm just jamming that thing into his neck to try and do whatever I can to inflict as much pain as possible. Because I was always raised, you need to fight no matter what happens. Do not be afraid. Like Ms. Wilduff was saying, walk confidently. Be sure of where you are. Be aware of your surroundings. I heard those lessons every day on a daily basis walking out of the house. So all this happened in a matter, it feels like 10 hours, but it happened in probably 5 minutes. So he finally lets me go, and I guess he got scared of what I was doing to him and jumped in the front seat, and I heard him grab my car keys. So another red flag goes off, and I said, I really have to get myself out of this car. So he turns the car on, starts to drive away, and I'm in the back seat still. I'm ready to either jump out of the car or something, but I remember to keep my leg out so he could not close the door. So he's trying to close the door, and I'm trying to get out of the car. He slams the brakes, and he says, are you going to call the cops if I let you out? So I'm like, well, of course not. But I tell him that I tell him no, and of course I do, jump out the car, and I start running for help. He takes my car, drives off to Lake Charles, and tried to use my debit card at a gas station. The cops get there, we call my family to come meet me, and lo and behold, a month and a half later, they found my car with his fingerprints and a job application in the car that he left. I guess it wasn't to NASA, I'm assuming that the job application was. But anyway, they find all that, and what was the most important part of it all was that I was able to specifically remember his hairline, what he was wearing, what his shirt said, what his shoes were, and because I was able to pay attention to my surroundings and what was going on. So we did the first lineup that day, at 2 o'clock. They had a lineup of 6 people, and I was telling the police chief and the deputies, this guy is not on here, it is not him. So they're like, no, you have to choose somebody. And I did, but I told them that's not it. Well, when they found my car, they did another lineup, and they did not have the right person pegged at first. And I was able to choose the right person because the only way I knew was because of the shape of his hairline, was had a point here, and no one else on the lineup did. So another important point is that these people are cowards. In order for you to walk up to an innocent person at 6 in the morning, you either A, have to be insane, or 2, be on high drugs, or be a coward. And luckily my guy was all 3, and he messed with the wrong person. So this guy has a 67-page criminal record. He never did anything serious, did petty thefts, trespassing, burglaries, different things that were considered not very important, to go and let's get him off the streets. We actually had a recent update as of Friday. The trial's been postponed again. He was sent to Mississippi for another mental evaluation because he was telling the parole officers and prosecutors that he was told by witchcraft to sacrifice an innocent life in himself and drown us in the basin. So that's what goes to show you that it is pertinent for us to teach not only young women but elderly and people in the best of shape, best of mental health, everything, to fight and do not be afraid when you walk out of your door, because the minute you're afraid of living your life is when you give an opportunity to be a victim. So my world has completely changed now, and I don't do these talks and I don't tell people about it for pity stories. I do this because I don't know how I did what I did or why I knew what to do. I had no training. I was just a country girl from Maurice who just never thought anything bad would happen to me, because you don't hear about that. So I just want people to hear my story so that they know that everybody has a chance to fight, no matter your age, height, size, weight, no matter what. You have to be confident. You have to go out in the world and not be afraid to do what you need to do because of cowards that pose a threat to society. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I forgot to tell them about the fear story. So one last thing real quick, I promise. So I'm now a student at LSU Health Science Center downtown. I'm a physician assistant student. And going there, I was freaked out, of course. I'm like, I got carjacked and almost kidnapped in little bitty Lafayette. Now I'm going to New Orleans downtown right next to a homeless shelter. And the first week of school, I was distraught. I didn't want anybody to know it, though. And the first day of real class, two of my classmates, one got followed into the building and another one, her purse got stolen from her walking to school. I completely lost it, had to leave class, and I called my dad crying that I didn't know what to do. I don't want to be scared, but I just am, and I didn't know where to turn, because if something bad happened to me once, what's going to stop it from happening again? So I don't have my phone, but he sent me a text message. He looked up the word fear and a definition, and it was something to the effect of, fear is something that you cannot let others guide your life by. Go out into the world, do not be afraid of others, because like I said, that's what cowards are. Fear those who do harm to others. Fear those who, are in the election coming up. Fear those kind of things. Don't fear things that you cannot change, that you have no control over, because I promise you those are the things that cowards will never be able to take away from you. So I just wanted to share that, and I hope you guys think about that, and be aware of your surroundings. No matter how trivial it may seem, just when people say that to you, please take it to heart, and do that whenever you walk out of a building every day. So thank you.